Look at what we've done now to live our present environment. That is the height of civilization, literally. We have risen this high, and we go that fast. That travels at 26,500 miles per hour. I had an uncle who drove this thing. This is how we started. And then we did this. And then we did this. Then we did this. Then we did that. And now we're doing that. And this is a surprise. This is a probe that's supposed to be in space, but they're testing underwater. I bet you they're using it in BP right now, because that's the deepest submarine that can go without blowing up, and it has an interesting shape. Can you recognize the zero in it and the X? Because it wobbles on itself, so the mechanism coils on itself or out in order to sustain stability. Because that's also, we have an absolute zero in our body, and that's why we love to shake it. So a little bit more on this. When you go to a tunnel, it's like you went through a process. Because first, you're outside the tunnel, and it's literally time out. And then you go through the tunnel, and it's time in, and then time through. And if you're still in the tunnel, or if you're the doctor receiving that baby, you see the baby come through from inside the mother's womb, which is not yet reality, into this reality. And that's the light at the end of the tunnel. So now we're going to get deep now. Let's make this practical. Process and progress is executed and evaluated with a strategy and business information and knowledge in real time and space. The company who's not capable of doing this right now, the wave is going to just carry on. We need to be as real time as possible if we really want to take advantage of the absolute zero. For Narrativa, and this is our little shameless plug, a strategy is the positive management of fear. Because fear is what keeps us from using and going forward. Fear of not bringing to life objectives and thus never seeing the object grow, develop into a healthy, prosperous product-first brand, company, global conglomerate, and global entity. You see, brands are destined to grow as high as the buildings that we built, or as high as the space lab that we want to make, even to go beyond this solar system. Life is an action-reaction, so it has a process and a progress, or metabolism and metabolic functions. And metabolism makes use of metabolic functions to get energy out of a resource from food. The energy will in turn be used to create and recreate actions and reactions as the organism moves and acts and interacts. So you see there's a ping pong to life. There's a tick-tock. It's binary. It's on-off. It's something makes something else happen all the time. And in the center is the zero. And that's what Ri means, or R, in time and space. And had we to visualize this, it looks like this. That's why we love Menudo doing this and disco. Because it gives us pleasure also, and why suave people do this, because it actually feels great. And it feels natural because our joints are done just for that, because the zero exists inside of us. That's why we love to shake it, because that's that, going from one side to the other. So it humanly gives you pleasure. Imagine if we harness this to make better strategies. It'll give pleasure to people. Oh my God. So let's explore how that works. You see, knowledge doesn't happen until information goes through a process and it progresses into the state of knowledge, which means that what we know most of the time is just other people's opinion, that until we question it, what it means to me, it doesn't become knowledge. Well, the same thing happens to water. Water needs to be heated up and then it's expanded, just like information expands in our life. At some point it condenses because it rose so high, like Icarus, that then it will drop back again, but what we have back is new water. That will be the new knowledge that we have. So you see, thinking also happens more or less with the same cycles of life, that things expand with heat That's concentration when you're thinking, and things condense when you cool off, and it drops. It happens that infinity symbol, anchored by that 0 in the center, happens up and down and sideways also. So let's analyze another cultural cue of how we can learn to do this, because this is a very beautiful story. The little engine that could is because he did. So let's talk about a brand is an action-reaction. So it has process and progress, or strategy and flawless execution. I think I can means that no matter what, you will. A brand makes use of its divisional functions in order to process information into knowledge. And the company who has the best servers and the best cloud computing wins at this part of the game, because that means that just like your body is sensing through the 5 senses constantly, the people who run this company can sense the environment, the action and interactions of their company in real time. The knowledge will in turn be used to recreate action reactions, as in like objectives versus anti-objectives, or objectives becoming objects, as the brand, product, service moves and reacts, acts in time. And in time, this case means media, culture, and the economy, and space, in this case, turns into mediums, distribution channels, as in like the channels you watch and the stores you visit. That's the context, and the rest is content. So that's why things get aired in time, but you walk into a store. Space. Are you starting to see the relationships between going to the moon and what we do in marketing? You can actually overlay your life, and it makes sense so far, in our opinion. So we're media and mediums. Everything in life is, because everything communicates and everything grows as long as it's alive. So you see, this little train that could, when he's finished, he has to start all over again. And if he's a medium, he has to do it again. Why? Because time never stops. So things always evolve, and this earth is always rock and roll around the sun. So I'm going to give you a tip on how to use this at a personal level. There is a story about pushing a camel through a needle, and that's a cultural cue. And it means that you can imagine something in your mind, and with your body, make it appear outside your mind. And that's literally your thoughts seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as they become real in our world. And what powers that is our imagination, our awareness, and our will. And that's why we think that things in the future look smaller, and as they approach time, like today, as we were getting ready, it looks like a wall coming towards you. It's not an illusion. That's how everything in life feels it. Land the plane, and that's how impending doom or salvation looks like. You see, that needle is the light at the end of the tunnel and the beginning of the funnel, if you can squeeze your objectives through it and have them appear in the other side as objects. If you really think about it, objectives become objects, tangible, because we are alive in this world. So you see, before Frosted Flakes became Frosted Flakes, it was just a word thrown around in a ballroom and a sketch. It had to go through a myriad of tunnels and funnels before it reached the store.